All right, number one, here we go. Use the equation and the corresponding graph for the quadratic function to find what is requested. And they've asked us to find the equation of the axis of symmetry. And we've been given two pieces of information really here. We've been given first the equation of this parabola, f of x equals quantity x minus 3 squared minus 2. And we've also been given the actual graph of this parabola, which is nice. But before we find the axis of symmetry, let's talk about what an axis of symmetry is. And in the case of our parabola here, the axis of symmetry is a line that can be drawn through the parabola so that when the parabola is folded in half along that line, the two halves mirror each other. They're going to line up. And what's nice about having the actual graph itself is that we can pretty much visually see that the axis of symmetry is going to be this blue line here, right? If we were to drop this blue line through our parabola and then fold this parabola in half along this blue line, we could see that the left side would match up with the right-hand side. And so we can say pretty definitively, looking at the graph here, that the equation of the axis of symmetry is x equals 3, right? The blue line that we just created, that we just drew, is a vertical line. We know that all vertical lines are written x equals some number, and the number in this case is wherever the blue line crosses the x-axis at. So we have x equals, and it looks like this line crosses right here at 3. All right, so this is how we visually found the axis of symmetry, but let's pretend that we didn't have this graph given to us and that we had to find the axis of symmetry just using the equation, this f of x equals quantity x minus 3 squared minus 2. Well, this is in the vertex form, and you may recognize that phrase from class, vertex form versus standard form. And when the equation of your parabola is in vertex form, the axis of symmetry is the equation x equals h. All right, so let's look at that in a little more detail here. So again, this is vertex form, and vertex form is f of x equals a quantity x minus h squared plus k. All right, so if we have our equation in this form, which we do, we can, just based on the equation, find what the axis of symmetry is, because we know the axis of symmetry is x equals h. Well, in the case of what we were given here, what is h? H is 3, and so we could quickly say x equals 3. We don't even really need the graph of this parabola. All we need is the equation of the parabola in vertex form, and we can find the axis of symmetry. So either way, we were able to find it both ways. We were able to find it from the equation of the parabola, and we were able to find it using the graph itself, which is nice. All right, and so there is the equation, x equals 3, the axis of symmetry.